about terror state Pakistan, and let's also talk about how India is going to push the terrorism financing watchdog, which is the FATF, to place Pakistan back on the grey list at the upcoming meeting in October. And this is as far as Pakistan exiting the Financial Action Task Force grey list in October 2022, after convincing the body that it had fulfilled the 34-point action plan involving legislative changes and operational reforms that was aimed at combating money laundering and terror financing. Let's connect with Bhavtosh on this. Bhavtosh, good morning. Now, this is Pakistan and the standard double operations that it continues, to proceed and trying to fool the world with it. There have been several instances, even recently, that you have when it comes to globally designated terrorists who seem to be still appearing free and roaming free and about. And however, when it comes to action being taken against them, Pakistan has done nothing about it. What is now New Delhi planning to do?
Good morning, Amita. In fact, post Pahalgam terror attack, there is a voluminous documentary evidence that India has gathered and will show it to FATF that Pakistan is not only supporting various terror groups, but also encouraging them, financially supporting them. Now, what has happened so far is that NIA has prepared a voluminous charge sheet which directly links Pakistan with the dastardly terror attack. As you can see, visuals of that terror attack. But importantly, the financial support that was given to various terror groups. Remember, Operation Sinddor saw killing of at least 100 terrorists and also completely dismantling the terror headquarters of Lashkar-e-Toiba as well as Jaish-e-Mohammed. But it was the manner in which these terror headquarters sprung up again within months. This was done not only through crowdfunding, but also active support of Pakistani establishment. Most of these terror headquarters are back in and running. Pakistan was removed from the grey list in 2022 and Pakistan again supported these terror outfits, whether it's Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, or its outfits or offshoots like terror TRF. And TRF is responsible for various terror activities in Kashmir. Remember, these terror outfits are still very active in Kashmir Valley, and India is fighting with these terror outfits. Most of them are proscribed terror groups.
Yes, so what is now being said that New Delhi would be submitting more evidences to highlight Pakistan's continued support to the terror groups. And this is coming up particularly after the Pahalgam terror attack, in which India had exposed the continued operation of the terror infrastructure across the border, mainly to highlight to the world body that how Pakistan is using terrorism, especially when it seems to be directed towards India. Thank you very much for the moment, Bhavtosh, for joining us here on the broadcast. Let's in the meantime speak of the India-US trade relations, because there seems to be significant development that has been made to that aspect, where the US ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, says that the negotiations are getting close to finalizing the deal, while also acknowledging that discussions remain complex, covering thousands of items across both economies. Now, expressing optimism, Sergio Gore says that he hopes that the agreement can be wrapped up sooner than later, signaling fresh momentum in the bilateral trade ties.
You're meeting at the Oval with President Trump. You are one of the most trusted voices that President Trump depends on. What were the conversations about India and the region?
Look, the conversation was about everything. Obviously, the president is a dear friend of mine. I've been with the president for 10 years. So I would say a good part of it was just two friends catching up. I think he's doing an incredible job here. But also I did update him on my travels across India. He loved seeing what I have seen. And as I have traveled across the country, I've seen just incredible things, and sharing that with the president, also sharing with him the business relationship, which is growing. And on both sides, every single week, you see businesses coming here and you see businesses going there. And that's a win-win situation. That's something we aim to work at every single week in the embassy.
When you were in Delhi, you had Ambassador Grieve there and Piyush Goyal meet. What did you tell the president about, why is this not on the finish line? And that 2% that we all are waiting for, when would that happen?
Well, we actually called Ambassador Grieve on the phone. So he joined us in the meeting by phone, and he gave the update himself. Ambassador Grieve has the president's full confidence, and so we're getting close to finalizing that. But as you know, these things are complex legal things, right? This is not a one page. We have thousands of items between our two nations that we're working on. And so the fact that we've gone so far, that's a great sign for the relationship. And I do mean, and I'm sincerely hopeful that we will be able to wrap this up sooner than later.
Well, Srinjoy is connected with us. Srinjoy, good morning. This is also coming in the lines where recently the United States Trade Representative was in India. And of course, this meeting that has taken place with the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal as well towards productive discussions for this bilateral trade agreement between India and the US.
That's likely to happen sometime in the future. And as we heard Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, say that it's entirely possible that President Trump will be here early next year. So it's possible, we don't know as yet, but it's possible that President Trump will be here either to sign this trade deal with the Americans, or he could be here for the 26th January Republic Day parade. So it's not clear as yet, but still these are possibilities, and the Americans are talking about it because they say that yes, the trade deal is likely to be signed, it's thousands of pages, etc., and everything has to be in place. Yes, we are moving towards it, we are moving quickly towards it, and it's likely to happen. Exactly when it will happen is not clear, but yes, it will happen in the near future.
Absolutely,
also,
and this is something that, Sergio Gore, as the ambassador, has been stressing that, the ties between India and the United States have had a rocky start, but the trade deal that seems to be finishing almost, it's in the last stages. However, what he has maintained that this is on the goodwill and the good, relations that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump share. That seems to be adding to the momentum when it comes to this optimism that he seems to be also speaking of this trade deal. Which something that the Union Commerce Minister has also highlighted, saying that when it comes to the advantage and the benefits of the Indian side is something that they continue to aggressively push forward. Let's listen into their side as well.
The President also asked you, when is he coming to India? Of course, it's not anytime during the midterms. It has to be somewhere next year.
As you know, it's hard for him to travel right now at the midterm because he's so focused domestically. When the Prime Minister met with him in France, the Indian side did bring up that he's been invited to visit India. So we would love to make that happen sooner than later.
And have you invited Prime Minister Modi to the United States?
Secretary Rubio invited him when he visited him. And so yes, we have invited him, and we would love to have him back here. And I think he's coming in December for the G20.
Okay. So. And one last question. You announced about the Quad meeting in Philippines. What can we expect in that meeting? And can we expect a leadership summit on the sidelines of G20 in the U.S.?
It's a great question. I don't want to preempt the announcements that will come out in the Philippines, but obviously we aim to build upon what has already happened in New Delhi, which included those maritime options in Fiji and other places. So the Pacific security is something that is vitally important to all four nations. So building upon that, I think having regular meetings in of itself is vitally important. And so we want to pick up, and we want to make this a regular thing, not a one-off once a year, twice a year. This needs to become a regular, formalized thing where the nations meet, regularly discuss, and move the ball forward. Good seeing you.
So, Sergio Gore, they're stressing that India and the United States are moving decisively towards finalizing a strong bilateral trade agreement that will unlock new economic opportunities for both countries and also significantly deepen US-India economic partnership. With that, we head into a short break.